Good morning. Welcome to the Archie Beslow radio show. Let's figure it out. In the studio today, I have Miss Yolanda Coleman, President and CEO of RIMS Center for Enrichment and Community Outpatient Mental Health Clinic in Landover, Maryland. Welcome, Miss Yolanda. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you today?
I'm great. How about you?
Awesome. It's such a pleasure to be here with you this morning.
So let's get right into it. Call us. The number is 1-800-450-7876. Again, 1-800-450-7876. So tell us a little bit about what RIMS is about, and how people can contact you guys and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Yolanda Coleman. I am the founder, president, and CEO of RIMS Center for Enrichment and Development. We are a community-based outpatient mental health clinic located in Landover, Maryland. Our services and our agency is primarily centered around providing psychotherapy for individuals who have been identified with mental health disabilities, for individuals who have experienced trauma and some stressors that may require or impact them from seeking professional support, to assist them in their recovery process, to assist them with their coping skills on a day-to-day basis.
Awesome. So what are some of your give me one of your most trying situations that you guys have encountered since you've been in business? But what's the norm? What's the normalcy of the complaints and the situation you guys get that comes in?
Well, that's a great question, Archie. Because we serve such a diverse group of individuals, from children ages 5 to adults ranging up to 65 plus, there's a great level of diversity in the individuals that we treat on a day-to-day basis. So you could take, for instance, individuals, particularly children, who have had difficulties with their academic performance, that may be having difficulties in the school setting, in the home setting, and in the community, where with additional supportive services and some testing, we can identify and determine additional supportive skills that will help them to improve in their academic, behavioral, and social emotional goals. So that can be students with attention deficit disorder. It could be students who have experienced trauma, which we're seeing a lot more individuals coming into the agency with trauma-focused needs that have experienced death and loss, which is now a form of grief, and things of that nature. And then for our adult population, we've dealt with the most pervasive mentally ill diagnosis, such as individuals who may be experiencing schizophrenia, bipolar depression, which is, while it's challenging, is certainly with the right treatment and interventions, is something that you can really live with and cope with and be successful in life. So,
okay. Again, the number is 1-800-450-7876. Please call in to join in with this discussion. So in my walk in life, I deal with a lot of youth. Youth come from troubled families. They have a lot of problems in school. They don't have consistency with their family members. Sometimes the dad is not in the kid's life. Sometimes the moms are not in the kid's life. Do you guys encounter any of those type of situations, and what do you have to offer to those kids that are complaining about the lack of consistency with the parenting, and does that really affect the kids a lot?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that we do focus on, and many individuals and agencies and programs would identify that type of individual or that type of family structure as a family that is at risk, or a youth that is at risk, or a child that is at risk. And that's primarily used, that term is primarily used for programs to really be able to create and carve out specialized programs and interventions to assist, whether it's parenting classes, whether it's providing mentorship to the individuals, where they're able to capitalize on males that are successful in the community, males that are positive role models, females that are successful, and females that are positive role models, that can be that serve as that surrogate, so to speak, and fill that void and give the consistency that may be lacking within the home for whatever apparent reason.
Okay. So what do you say? What do you say to the individual? What do you say to the mom whose son or daughter is just out of control? So do you think that comes from a mental aspect, or that comes from a young lady or a young man seeking attention? Or do you think that's the young man or the young lady is trying to challenge their parents to be better parents? They just don't know how to word it. What can you offer our young listeners how to actually talk to their mom and dad to get what they want from their mom and dad?
Well, without properly assessing the entire situation, it's really premature, and it's very difficult to say what could be causing the behavior. What I can say is that with every behavior, there's a meaning behind it. So it's really key for parents and for teachers and educators and anyone involved in a child's life, whether it's a coach or a pastor, to go beyond the behavior, decode the behavior, to understand what's going on. There's a message within that individual that they're trying to communicate. And sometimes the words are not there to articulate. It gets manifested in their behaviors, whether it's maladaptive behaviors or not, it's manifested. So what's really going on? What's the cause? What's the root cause of that behavior is the first thing that we want to look at and assess by giving the child a voice. Hearing what they have to say. And parents, I understand because I am a parent myself. Sometimes we are not going to be the individuals that our children are going to speak to.
Amen.
So we have to be very open to allowing someone else who can serve as that sounding board, who could serve as that safe, who could create that safe space for that individual to speak, to be there and to be involved without having the feelings of being rejected by our children, because that's often a feeling that comes with a parent when a child seeks help outside of the home, without feeling ostracized, without feeling as if you're unworthy of that dialogue with your son or your daughter. Just be very open to having another individual, whether it's a family member or outside individual from an agency such as REMS, to come in and to be a support, because the key is building communities, building bridges, and building collaborative teams that's going to really serve as that supportive team for your son and your daughter and even you.
Awesome. All right. Again, this is the Archie Beslow Radio Show. Please call in at 1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876. The reason why your calls are so important because we can talk all day long on the radio. My radio show isn't for me to just talk and to edify myself. My radio show is for me to give a platform for others to call in so your answers can be answered. We have in the studio today Miss Yolanda, and she's full of knowledge and full of advice. And also, I've been in touch with a lot of kids over the years. So again, your phone calls is the actual heartbeat of the show. If we don't get the questions, we can't give the information to help others. Last week's show, I touched on it. I'm really huge on this profanity piece. And our adults, myself, we don't realize the things that our youth gravitate to. I spoke last week about family reunions, when you have that uncle or that aunt that's always dropping F-bombs, and we all kind of sit back and laugh about it and joke about it, and we never check that person. But in those settings, you have kids that are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up until like 13, and all behavior is learned behavior. So I often tell parents want to help, but they never help themselves first. So when you guys encounter, and as a mentor, I can fix the problem when I'm in the houses, but when I leave, it becomes, the cycles continue when I'm gone. What kind of advice can you offer our parents when they do receive information from people like yourself and me to try to bring change and they have the families and they just have so much retention that is a problem?
Well, that's a great point. And change is systemic. So it's almost like I use the analogy all the time where you're learning a foreign language.
Right.
And you become fluent in Spanish.
So what we're going to do, since it's a radio, we got to let our sponsors pay for this show.
Absolutely.
But we're going to come back with Miss Yolanda so we can finish that point. Again, you're listening to WL 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, WLDCnews.com, where information is power. We'll be right back.
Is this a break? That's what that means?
Still loud. You good?
1450
So that's basically how
So when you do this, that means break.
that means right. That means
your business is still not where it
complete
needs to
your
be.
thoughts so I can go
You
into
realize that
Yeah, but you gave me
95% of
2
all
minutes.
successful businesses are successful.
Oh, I can start doing it.
And radio is one of the most effective ways to advertise
So
your
that's
business.
cool.
And by advertising on WOL,
And like me, I'm
it's a clear way
gonna
of
keep it
increasing
real.
your business
I'm like,
and
now
your
call
bottom
in.
line.
I'm not gonna just sit
WOL
here
is
and
one of the
callers.
most listened to
Oh,
talk
they
stations where we reach
But
loyal
people
and
are always
dedicated
looking for the first
consumers
person to
daily.
call.
By advertising with us,
And then if we say
have
something
the
that's
perfect
gonna, like,
opportunity to tell
that's why now
thousands of
I'm
people about your
searching.
business for
So
the
I'm
very
doing
first
family
time.
piece.
Don't worry, it's not
Searching.
expensive,
And it's
just
gonna be
cost
something somebody's
effective.
gonna grab it. They'll be
So
like,
call
aha!
and call our sales department
I can
today
talk
to
about
find
that.
out more. 301
But at the end of the day, as long as we give it, the
429
first part was great.
When you call, ask for
Because
our
now they
general
actually
sales
know where you
manager,
guys are
Karen
located,
Jackson,
and
and be sure to
by all
ask
means,
about this week's advertising
feed your
special.
facility.
Call today, 301-429-2618. That's 301-429-2618.
You want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Washington, D.C.? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple three-step
Good morning,
system for
Facebook.
flipping homes
How you guys
right
doing?
here in the local area. This is Stan Merrill, star of 80s hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a
We're on a
handful
commercial
of
break.
people in the Washington, D.C. area who want to
Right.
learn how to make money.
Hey, Miss
flipping
Yolanda's
houses in
here.
their spare time
Hi
using
there.
other people's money.
Brother Donald,
Washington,
you're here in the
D.C.
back
is a
chilling.
perfect market for my sister.
Oh.
Next week, I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn
Hey,
how to make money.
oh now y'all want to hit the
and
like button. Well, I made my hey. When I become a millionaire, what's up, Raz? When I become a millionaire, and my radio show is like all across the country. Don't call me. It's a joke. I'm just joking. Say hello to my guest.
How are you today? Hank, Raz, Courtney, hello.
Brother Don, you want to go carry? We back. So real talk. Hey, I need you guys to call in, even if these shows. Thanks, Donnie. Thank you so much, Donnie. My good old neighbor, Donnie. Even if this show doesn't speak to your needs or concerns, you can still call in and ask questions so that we can help other people. What's up, brother Walt? My man. All right. Thank you, Cookie. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have you on stand on this show really soon. She is. Hey, Yolanda said you're very knowledgeable. Give her a shout out.
Oh, thank you so much, Yolanda. I love your name.
So we just trying to get in on the Archie Beslow radio show. Let's figure it out. The show is called Let's Figure It Out. So we can't figure it out if y'all don't give us nothing to figure out. You feel me? We're trying to figure something out. So yeah, Victoria, we're gonna try to do that in April sometime. Yep, and I'll give you guys a call offline. Hey, Sister Gail, how you doing? Hope all is well. To my man Paul, I said what's up. One of them Curl Alumni Lions. What's up, brother Erk?
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here.
So yeah, we're in a little commercial break.
We want to hire you.
I will pause y'all, but I want y'all to get the real life radio experience.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself.
Started
to
drinking
the friends
coffee.
of life.
Y'all know I don't drink coffee.
Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience.
Also, there's a guy I know that wrote a book.
For your company in an entry-level position, internship.
This guy here?
They might not have every qualification
Right.
you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Good morning, Gail.
I know. Don't miss
So
out on
now
the
going
resource
back
many
into it,
innovative
so,
companies have already discovered.
So now this is one good part where we
to learn
kind
how
of
to
like
find,
flow.
cultivate, and
So
train
there's
this great
things that you
pool of
want
untapped
to,
talent. Brought to you by the
like say like some
Black.org.
situations that you had in the center. You can kind of like give scenarios and examples. You don't have to give names. You can say like, for instance, I had a client or however you want to word it. This is what they're going through. So now my listeners have to be able to relate to something.
You sure you want me to do that right now?
Oh yeah, we got to get it going. We about to get back in.
So I'm not going to go back to the systemic question.
Welcome back. We're back. My guest in the studio, Miss Yolanda Coleman from RIMS. And what was your question? I'm candid. It's cool. It's cool.
Well, I was just speaking from before the commercial break. We were talking about different families and what happens when you're serving a child, but you're not serving the entire family. How do you integrate that so that those skills are transferred over into the household? Mm-hmm. And again, that's like speaking a foreign language. If one is learning Spanish and the other one is not, then it's very difficult to communicate. Would you say that's...
Yeah. Yes.
That's pretty accurate?
That's pretty accurate, yeah.
So it's really important that the skills are being transferred, whether it's through counseling or whether it's through mentorship with the child, is also being coached and taught to the parent as well, so that the systems can change. So that the things that parents may have been taught when they were younger, they're now learning some new things as they become parents or as they're parenting their children.
Okay. Again, 1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876. I think we have a caller on the line. So, guys, call in. We need you to call in before we take this next caller. We need you to call in because there are questions that are needed to be answered. Like I said, this radio show is an informal radio show. This radio show is about helping people. It's not about... I don't want to just have a radio show just to have it, but I want to have a radio show so that we can actually change lives. Caller, you on the air? Is that Anthony?
Yes, sir. I wasn't sure I was going to come right on the front of the room, but anyway, yeah, this is Anthony. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. I saw the post on another friend of mine, and when it comes to youth, I'm always interested. I'm currently working on raising funds for every youth program in the city.
Awesome. Okay.
And anyone who in that arena, who is in that arena and wish to collaborate can, because it's going to be done, because I have something that is phenomenal that's going to change the face of the city.
Awesome.
And I'm always helpful because I was in the fatherhood program years ago. Matter of fact, the first of its kind with Mr. Charles Ballard.
Okay.
And I realized the importance of men being involved with their children.
Yes, sir.
So with that, I'm just going to sit back and listen to the call and enjoy it.
I appreciate your call, sir. And I have your number. I'm going to reach back out to you when the show ends so that we can collaborate and see what we can get going. And I appreciate your efforts. It takes people like yourself and myself and Miss Yolanda in the studio to actually sound the alarm and actually do something to help our youth and our families. We can all sit back and just listen. It's easy to sit back and listen and do nothing, but it's also actually easy to bring somebody on board to help them get along. So I really truly appreciate you, sir, for your efforts, and I will be in touch.
I look forward to it.
Thank you, my friend. So yes, again, 1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876. The Archie Beslow radio show, Let's Figure It Out, in the studio now with Miss Yolanda. So Miss Yolanda, the issues that I come across, and I'm a kid advocate. You know, everybody loves Coach Archie. What I get often from our youth is that mom and dad don't listen. And in my show, a lot of these topics are going to be redundant because they're not being changed. So if we repeat ourselves every Sunday, I'm going to continue to repeat myself until somebody give me an answer or some type of solution to help our kids to grow. The piece I was just speaking about was the profanity piece. People don't realize the cause and effect that it takes on our kids to actually retain those curse words, have that locked into their little brains, and then when they get around their peers, they exchange the profanity amongst each other. People don't know the devastation that is really causing our youth. That creates anger, that creates disrespect, and in the meanwhile, while the adults are cursing and using profanity and they're laughing, the kids are not mature enough to understand that the adults that are using the profanity are using it just as a means of entertainment or means of what have you. What do we need to do to have our parents and our adults to realize when to use these words and not to use these words? Because I really don't think none of us have been trained. It's like when we leave the house, when we're kids and we leave our houses and we can't wait to become adults. So now we just run amok. Everything our mom and dad wouldn't let us do, so now we just do everything. So we have to start actually creating some type of training, some type of instruction, some type of dialogue to let people know the impact that profanity has on our youth?
I honestly believe that no parent wakes up with the intentions to be a bad parent.
Mm-hmm.
No parent has a child with the intentions to ruin that child's life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not customary. It's not your typical thing.
Yes, ma'am.
But I do understand that people do what they know,
Mm-hmm.
what they've been taught. And until you've been taught something differently, you're going to continue to do the same thing.
Okay.
So again, the information that you're putting out on your show is vital information, because unless, again, you say, like you say, if you're not being constantly reminded, if you're not constantly being informed of the impact that your choices in life, whether it's through your words or through your actions, how they have a direct impact on your child's life, then you're not going to change it.
Right.
So through continuously educating, through continuously working with and modeling, and then informing parents of the devastation that it does cause, that's the key.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the key. So we'll continue to plug in with your show. We'll continue to work with our parents as they come into the agency, as they come into RIMS, to just really make a correlation between their child's behavior and what they're seeing in the household without judgment. Okay. And that's the most critical thing, because this is not about judging anyone. This is really about figuring out how we can really take a classification of individuals that have been defined as at risk and change the course, change the trajectory of their life, to give them hope, to give them promise, to give them a place where they can stand up and live in their purpose.
Miss Yolanda said something very important. Judgment. It's not about judgment. There's not a radio show in the land that I can recall that's dedicated to the youth and to the families. I'm trying to embark on something that's great. I'm trying to embark on something that's going to bring change. This is not a show about judgment. All right, we're going to go to the line real quick. We're going to talk to Miss Victoria Mayo. You on the line?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Great show you have going here.
Thank you, ma'am.
So what I see with kids, and we have a foundation, the Richards Group Foundation, where we mentor young people. And being a single mother of 2 kids raised in D.C., what I see a lot of is parents in denial. There are many children that are undiagnosed or misdiagnosed with ADHD and, learning disabilities, etc. But what I see with a lot of parents are they're either in denial that there's something abnormal about their child, and they either give them a pass because they think that there's an issue, or they don't know which direction to go in terms of getting their children help. Mm-hmm. And therefore it affects everybody. It affects the classroom, the teachers, society, etc., because these kids are not getting the help that they need, and the parents aren't identifying what the issues are.
Yes, ma'am.
So we see a lot of that with the parents, and so what's the best way to get through to the parents? And a lot of them we see also that I believe they're undiagnosed cases myself, but how do we get through to the parents to get to these kids?
So I'm going to speak from a non-professional standpoint that's been effective for me, Vic. We have to always talk about the proponent of identifying someone in your family that's a strong individual, that's a leader. All families have someone that's a leader. They may not be a great leader, but they are someone that has their life in order for the most part. Those are the people in the families that have to bring the troubled people or the people that need help to help. What we do, we always say family, 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 but we'll be aggressive outside of our family, but we're not aggressive with our families. All right, so Vic, I'm going to have to come back to you on the other half of this break. Please stay on the line, because that is very important what you're talking about. So you're listening to the WL 95.9, 1450 AM, WLDCnews.com, where information is power. We'll be right back. Thank you.
1450 WOL, where information is power. Have you or a family member been charged in a criminal case? The McDaniel Law Group has spent 20 years fighting and winning trials for people charged with serious felony cases, from conspiracy to distribute narcotics to murder in the first degree.
Experienced representation can be the difference between an extended
Girl show, man. I couldn't put it on Facebook because
You told
James
the
Brown was
music.
playing in the
I know.
background. And that show was powerful, man.
Wow.
0793
Hey, thank you.
Brian K. McDaniel, principal.
Hey, thanks, Vic, for calling in. Appreciate you. We're going to continue that dialogue. Thank you so much. I got you, Janae. I got you. I see you calling. Brother Jeffrey Harold, that's my man. Hey, I appreciate you supporting me, Jeff. I appreciate you, buddy. I'm enjoying that retired life as well. Miss Gilmore, you need to call me. We got some things that Miss Gilmore, that dynamite administrator from that great old Archbishop Carroll High School, my alma mater. Yeah. Miss Gilmore, we need to talk soon, real soon. Brother David Hunter. What's up, Denise? Everybody like this shout out. That's why, you know. So my manager was like, Archie, you need to shout people out at the end of the. I'm not doing that. People want love. People support me and reaching out, taking their time out to be a part of it. I'm going to give them love.
I'm tired, or I'm hungry.
It's like you being in the club. I'm there partying hard, and the dude ain't even. Come on, son, party hard. Can you?
Pain and pressure in my abdomen. I feel bloated for no good reason.
Yeah, good stuff.
Too full, too fast.
So when we come back on the break, you can complete that thought.
Okay.
You know,
Or I have to go to
you know,
the
you can stop saying
bathroom
for
more
me to
often
establish.
and more urgently than usual.
I got
These
it.
can be signs of a gynecologic cancer, like cervical, ovarian, uterine,
See, we don't want to see that. I'll tell you, I'll go fast.
Symptoms aren't the same for everyone. If your body says something,
Okay, I got you.
learn the symptoms.
Hey, have a safe trip back, and let's talk soon.
About gynecologic cancers.
What's up, Sonny Al?
CDC info. A message from the Inside Knowledge Campaign and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Music is a bridge between the
Material and spiritual.
My name is Harvey.
What's up, Brian? What's up, Cornell? What's up, Mentor? Hey, guys, it's very important. Even if you don't call in, have somebody that you know that's going through some of these problems that we're talking about on my show. It's like a simple text. You can, text one of your friends or whatever and say, hey, a friend of mine, Coach Archie, his radio show is on. And you remember when we talked about this last week, the information that he's given today can be helpful to what you have going on. That's the purpose of the show, is to help.
And then the cello. My wife, who is also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I
Hope everybody's good out there.
Meals. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
For me, I needed
This
help
message
first.
brought
I
to
was
you by
brought
Meals on
up
Wheels
in a
America and the Ad
time to
Council.
numb my feelings.
Driving means
Freedom,
Exploration,
fun,
pride,
flexibility,
protection,
friendship, control,
independence.
distracted driving means
danger,
Okay, we're going to address that.
Police, injury,
tears, death.
safe driving means staying alert.
Mentor, the number is 1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876.
Noise, and the Ad Council.
Washington, D.C.'s News Talk, 1450 AM WOL and 95.9 FM.
All right, welcome back to Archie Beslow Radio Show. Let's figure it out. Miss Yolanda, you wanted to speak to Miss Victoria?
Yes, Victoria from the Richards Group, I hear. Fantastic. Well, that was a great question. But in terms of parents being in denial, what I do want to say is that there is a stigma that we already know is associated with mental health. There's a stigma associated with learning disabilities. And what is really critical is that we dismiss and we dispel those stigmas, that we just really stop focusing on the labels and we start focusing on the individual. So as parents, I just want to say first and foremost, it's okay to seek professional help. REM Center for Enrichment Development, this is where we really take time to identify the behaviors, the challenges, the struggles that the individuals are facing, and we work directly with the children, the families, and additional individuals that have been identified as key people in that child's life or that individual's life to help them reach success. So it's really key that, one, they're in a place where they can, one, tell their story, they could first seek professional help, and then they could create a plan with a team of professionals and the family members that will allow them to operate in their best, in their strength-based areas, to develop a plan that's going to guide them to a level of success in life.
Awesome. All right. So, Vicky, you can call back in. I see your message. You can actually call back in. Let's take caller Miss Janae on the air. Miss Janae.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How you guys doing this morning?
We're doing great. Who are we speaking with?
Janae.
Hey.
Hey.
What you got, sis?
Well, I have a couple of comments. First of all, you guys you're doing a great job. I've been tuned in since probably 9:59, and going to two things I wanted to say. Going to what Miss Yolanda just pointed out. I'm a parent of an 8-year-old daughter, and a few years ago, I lost my dad to cancer. And so if my message can help kind of shatter, like you said, the misconceptions and stigmas of seeking help, I hope I can, because what I realized a year or two even after that in handling his business and grieving that, because it's just me and my daughter. I'm her primary caretaker, and I realized that, if I didn't get help to deal with the loss, which is an enormous loss for me, losing my father, that those energies and somewhat of just trying to handle it myself, it wasn't working. And I went ahead and, it's kind of like dropping your pride and just understanding the issue that, look, it's not just me. I did it for me, but also understanding that transfers to her or anyone in the household, especially the children, and especially when it's just you and your child or children, they look up to you. They're feeding off of you. So I do implore, anyone who the parent per se, to get help if there are issues that they're battling. And the second thing I wanted to point out, Archie, a while back you were talking about profanity, and you and I have spoken about that. And again, I just want to, people is not judging, as you stated, nothing like that, but parents specifically, I think, just need to look at it. And I think I've shared this with you, that I don't curse around my daughter. And it's mainly, for one, that's just my belief. That's just my, how I am. And I just feel like words kind of have power, and you have negative words, you have positive words. So I just try to instill and move her spirit with positive, encouraging words. She's going to hear the profanity. There's nothing we can do about that. That's the world we live in. So it's not trying to protect her or smother her, but I just feel like I have to set a standard. Our household is somewhat of our sanctuary as well. So our place of peace. And I just believe that, her having to hear it in the schools and in the malls and when we're on the bus or the metro, can't control other people. But at the end of the day, I want her to look at me more so as like, well, mom doesn't do that, or dad, whomever is the guardian, the parent, I don't have to speak like that. I can get my point across without, having to divulge into certain speech or certain words, because I do think they do have a negative effect on power. And I just want her to look at it. We need to set the standard. We need to be different than the world. So that's the only those are the 2 points that I just kind of wanted to piggyback off of you guys talking.
Hey, Janae, I appreciate you. And let's talk soon. Very, very powerful.
We will. Keep going, okay? I'll talk to y'all later. Okay.
All
right. Bye-bye.
We will take the next caller. Brother Clarence, you on the air?
Hey, what's up, Coach? How are you?
I'm doing good, my friend. I'm doing good.
I'm doing well. Look, I was just paying attention to the topic today, And I'm pretty sure you probably have some listeners that are going to be in this scenario. As a grandparent myself, when I recognize that there's a detachment between my daughter and one of my grandchildren, so the question is, what kind of strategies can I employ? I guess this is for Miss Yolanda, to kind of repair the ties and get their relationship stronger.
I would first again say that through identifying what's causing the detachment, that might be an area that would require outside support, family therapy. For your daughter, for one, to identify what could be causing that detachment from she and her child, and then the impact that has on your granddaughter. So that's something that can be identified and addressed through family counseling. And I would highly seek that you do that, because the longer it goes unaddressed, the greater the problem can become.
Great answer. Thank you. Yeah, have a blessed day. Talk to you next time, Coach.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. We have Raymond on the line.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. As I'm listening to the show, I agree with both of you all on how our children learn from their parents. And with that said, they also learn from what they are taught in school. Amen. And also how they are treated by their teachers, especially their Caucasian teachers. Now, my cousin used to drive a school bus, and she said white kids cursed more than a sailor and acted worse than black children on the school bus. And what we need to do, my brothers and sisters, we need to stop blaming our children's parents for their actions when these Caucasian racist teachers are also part of the problem. Now, a sister mentioned ADHD. That syndrome is a joke. Today, this racist school system gives them Ritalin, which is another form of heroin. Therefore, how are our children going to learn when they are doped up with this drug sitting in class, then acting up, but they are the ones that are blamed for their actions? My auntie taught special education for 40 years, and she told us that these children don't suffer from any disease. All they needed was love and hugs, which these Caucasian teachers do not give them. And go to YouTube and look up Dr. Umar Johnson's stance of that ADHD live. Now, I'm going to close with this, brothers.
You don't have to close, brother. This is an informative radio station.
Yes, sir. Well, it appears to me that black people are scared to put the blame on Caucasian teachers who are molesting our young boys and girls in elementary school, middle, and high school. I have numerous articles how these female teachers are raping our young boys, giving them drugs and alcohol after school to have sex with them. They invite them to their homes, force them to have sex with them, then threaten to fail them if they did not engage. There's an article called Teacher Sex Offender List, 25 female teacher and student sex crime scandals, and all the teachers are Caucasian females. So let's stop blaming our parents and stop blaming our children when this racist school system is also part of the problem. Appreciate it.
Brother Raymond, this is, man, I love you and I appreciate you. This is what this show is about. I don't have this radio show just to have a show. This show is meant to help people, and I need people to call in and to speak like Brother Raymond spoke about it. We're not going against anybody. Whoever's at fault, they're at fault, and we're gonna have to call them out. We're gonna have to challenge people that are at fault. And you're right. We can't keep blaming one entity. And my point is, I'm coming from an aspect where I have expertise in, just like Sister Yolanda. She's coming from a point where she has her expertise in. That's why calling in is so vital and it's so important, because there are so many scenarios and situations that we're not aware of. But I'm going to let Ms. Yolanda speak to Brother Raymond's comments.
Wow, what a powerful comment that you had on the radio today. And while we understand there are a lot of different social and political and so many different injustices that we face as a people, what I do stand firm behind is that REM Center for Enrichment and Development, we are about empowerment. Empowerment that will take you beyond your injustices to allow you to understand that By taking responsibility, you're able to really take back your life, take back something that's been taken from you. So while there's areas where we can certainly say as the school system or the criminal justice system, we also want to say that by taking responsibility for your course, for your life, you could change the course of it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Ms. Yolanda. Again, you listen to WL 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, WLDCnews.com, where information is power. We'll be right back.
At home, at work, or in your car, download the free...
There you go. You got it. You right. You completed your thought. So now you guys seeing the type of show I want. I don't need to stick my chest on. Say, I got a radio show. Nah, call in.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is powerful, and it's not. So normally I would chime in because I never wanted this radio show just to be about blacks. So he almost had me to the point where I was about to say something, but then he covered it up and make it, because he's right, because there are other cultures that do it, and that's another show. So I'm gonna have a show about the administrators and the teachers, because our teachers are burnt out, so they're getting frustrated because they're dealing with a lot of kids that have a lot of problems. So we expect them to be superheroes, and they're not.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good content.
And whenever you guys want to come back on the show, just hit me up.
Great.
And be like, if you guys feel something like a topic that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
So hey, Archie, when is your next slide? Boom.
Okay.
Because in the beginning, you always got to get your core group of people when you start out. Your supporters, the people that got you back. So as I grow, y'all grow.
Awesome.
Man, see, like Mariana saying he was the most. Like, the people got different, so then a lot of people was applauding him. Now I get a text from Mariana. I know I am on Facebook Live. I know I'm still live on Facebook. I wanted my show to be transparent. It ain't nothing against nobody. There ain't no secrets here. We about changing lives. So yeah, if y'all can hear our conversation, great. That's what's wrong with us now. We always want to talk behind the scenes, and the truth come out when you're really speaking truthful. So, hey, but thanks for the heads up, guys. We got it. But I want my show to be very informative because it's not about one demographic. It's about everybody in itself, so we can bring change. Y'all look at the Atlanta Housewives. They don't cut the tape. Y'all listen to everything they say extra. You feel me? Yeah, but I appreciate it. I know you guys are telling me to support me. I appreciate it. But yeah, this is a transparent show. I'm keeping it real. They always say the meeting after the meeting is the best meeting anyway. Yeah, I know I'm 50. A lot of things I forget to say, so I'm going to say it now with my family. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, y'all good? As long as y'all good, I'm good. Thanks for listening. So yeah, so this is when we wind up. So when we come back in, I can even get mental.
You have one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do it, Vicky. Don't do it. Now, I ain't 50 for real. I'm actually 42. My mother had me. Then she said psych. So then she'd had the pregnancy all over again. That ain't make sense? Yeah, good job, Janae. And plus you into it.
Continue my education and finish what I started to get my diploma. Just never judges. She's a true role model. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
From the most powerful city in the world. You're listening to WOL News Talk 1450 AM
and 95.9 FM.
I confess, SOS, I need...
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to take our final caller for the day. And this has been a fabulous show, man. I appreciate my supporters. I appreciate my listeners. This show is about bringing change. I see my good friend, brother, Coach Butch McAdams is in the house. Love you so much, my friend. He's coming up next, In and Out of Sports. A very powerful show. Right now we have Brother Mentor Cooper on the line.
How you doing?
Doing good, my friend.
All right. I heard your last caller on the line, and it was a similar experience that I had myself. I went to a predominantly white school.
Okay.
And by me going to that school, I never realized how talented I was educational-wise because no one ever pushed me because I always had the Caucasian teachers.
Okay.
I went till the 9th grade getting, back in the day it was S-. You remember those days? When you used to get a report card, it wasn't A, B's, and C's. It was B, G's, and back then, but I was getting, D's basically.
Yeah,
I got to the 9th grade, and one black teacher said, "Hey, you really can write. Well, you really can, express that he wanted me to be to challenge myself." And a lot of kids out here just getting pushed through the system like I did, all the way to the 9th grade. And just getting pushed through, and nobody's really checking what they actually learning. They pass the test, you move on.
Right.
But the one teacher that stopped me and said, "Hey, man, stop playing games and do what you got to do." And then I had a principal, the vice principal, did the same thing, asked me for my report card. I never had a teacher ever asked me for my report card.
Awesome.
Never asked me nothing about me. And one teacher or one mentor in your life can change it, because you can go I went from D's to A's.
Amen.
And the caller said about HDHD, I had it. And my son had it too. My son had it.
Did we lose you? Okay, he must have did some. So yeah, Mitch, if you can get back on the line, that'd be great. If not, do you want to close out? Let us a little bit about RIMS, Ms. Yolanda.
Absolutely. So again, RIMS Center for Enrichment and Development, we are located in Landover, Maryland. We provide outpatient mental health counseling. So if you are looking for a licensed clinical therapist that is very seasoned, that can help you with issues as it relates to clinical depression, ADHD, bipolar depression, paranoid schizophrenia, and other disabilities or other instances where you may see there's some impairment with you being able to perform your day-to-day duties in a manner in which you would like to perform them or that you used to. I would suggest that you really call the office. Our number is 301-773-8201. Our website is www.rimsenrichmentcenter.com. And we will be glad to get you in and see how we can work with you and your family.
All right, that's phenomenal. So once again, the Let's Figure It Out show, well, the Archie Beslow radio show, Let's Figure It Out, is for the people. It's for our youth. It's for our families. A lot of people come to me all the time, asking for help, for guidance, for answers, information. So I created this radio show for you guys. And I'm going to continue to bring this radio show out into the communities. And we're going to bring change. But first and foremost, we have to start checking ourselves. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about scenarios. In life, we often play a lot of scenarios in our heads. And we try to make those scenarios become true as adults. So you have to think about on a day-to-day, kids, they not only live in their scenarios, but they're creating scenarios. And they're not even mature enough to handle the daily ongoings of their lives, because kids have more pressure than adults. So you have to think about it. If your child is going through something, and your child won't even talk to you about why he didn't clean up his room, which is very small, or why he or she didn't do the dishes. So you have to think to yourself before you go on your kids or challenge your kids, what other things they have within their pit of their soul that they want to express to you. But you guys, as parents, we are sometimes the bully to our kids. We're sometimes outperforming the bullies that they're dealing with in schools. Miss Yolanda, you got any thoughts on that?
Well, that's deep, and that can be true.
Yes, ma'am.
So the listening is very critical.
Mm-hmm.
While we do want our dishes done, while we do want the chores done, again, I go back to decoding the behavior. What's causing the resistance? What's causing the level of defiance, for lack of better words. So as parents, yes, we can be very, very overbearing and very forceful in getting the results that we want from our children. But if we want to develop the whole child, we want to be able to know that we are listening, that we're engaging, and that we're in tune to their agenda and not just our own.
Amen. All right. Well, you heard it from Miss Yolanda. So next week's show is going to be powerful. I have a dynamite young lady. Super dynamite young lady. Yeah, I'm going to edify her to the T. The title and the topic of the show for next week is Touched by God at an Early Age. And this phenomenal young lady, Miss Mia, she has a couple of records out, and she's a very, 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 very prominent young lady. And you guys don't want to miss this show. And she also has a mom, and I'm not going to indulge the mom name at this point because I wanted it to be a surprise for you guys. But the show is predicated on young Mia, mom, stopping her career and her life to dedicate her entire time to her child. And that speaks volumes to the dedication that one must have to their kids to make their kids great. Anything closing you want to add that I'm going to out? Because, this is one of them shows where, I know it's a lot. We got an hour, but, what are some of the things you may want to leave somebody with even from a mom standpoint or from an administrative standpoint?
Again, my thing is to really seek the help that you know that you or your family member deserves. Seek the help. Be okay with receiving the help. Be open to that feedback and be open to really creating the lifestyle that you know that you can have. So again, our office is REM Center for Enrichment and Development. We are located in Landover, Maryland. Our phone number is 301-773-8201. Our website is www.remsenrichmentcenter.com, and we are here to help. We are here to build families, and we're here to build stronger communities, one individual at a time.
Outstanding. You heard it, REMS. So, Brother Dirk, my man Dirk Davis, doing a fantabulous job in PG County. My man, I love you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. At some point, you and I need to get together and collaborate, man. I'm trying to do some next level stuff as it relates to our families, our youth, and our communities. I'm your guy. I tell people often, hey, now's the time. Use me as much as you can to help bring change to our communities. That's very powerful, Yolanda. I don't know. It's like every throughout the week, I look forward to coming on the air and doing my show, because I know there are a lot of people that are listening and looking from afar, and I'm hoping that these messages that we bring on air are actually bringing change, but also at least having people think about some of the things that they're doing. People talk about ADHD, they talk about medicine, how bad it is, they're talking about how good it is, whatever. But everything is not for everybody. You have some people that swear by it, and for a person that's taking the medicine, and if the mom is at home and this kid is off the medicine, this kid is like tearing the house up, you can't tell this mom to not give that child that medicine when she know that medicine is effective. If we all had the answers to all the problems, then we wouldn't have to have radio shows. We wouldn't have to talk about these issues. So it's great to talk about it from the standpoint of what can we do to figure it out and help people. So all information is not good information, but at the end of the day, as long as you're getting some form of information, it can help you cultivate your life and bring change to others.
Again, I agree 100%. And it's about really assessing what's going on in your life and in your family's situation. If it is not working, why not try something that could possibly work? So while while it may not have worked for one person, that could be the one thing that changed your family structure, that changed your son or daughter's academic behavior performance, that really allows you to be more successful in your job.
All right, you heard from Miss Yolanda. Thanks for coming on the show. I enjoyed you, and let's work together. Again, you listen to the Archie Beslow radio show. Let's figure it out on WOL 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, where information is power. You have my brother Coach Butch McAdams is coming up next with In and Out of Sports. Give that guy some love because he's a very dynamic and powerful dude, man. Love you all. Thank you, listeners, for listening in. Let's talk soon. Peace.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Facebook crew. Hey, love y'all. Real talk. I appreciate the support. You guys motivate me. Brother Keith, what's up, Keith? My man, one of my favorite coaches. Hey, Kurt, thank you so much. Hey, Janae, thank you so much. I love you all. Hey, let's get people tuned in. This radio show ain't about me. Let's go. Let's make it happen. Peace.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.